特斯拉大概是全世界最慷慨的一家公司，它公开所有的 know-how。Elon Musk 甚至说，公司所有的专利呢，你都可以去使用，公司不保存所有的秘密，一切都让你学。那我从这个视频里面看到，有17位主管全部在他的 Investor Day 公开，每一个来讲述他的工作的一些经验，而且这些经验都非常宝贵，几乎都是颠覆这个产业所有继承的模式，而且也记录 Tesla 开创这家伟大公司的所有的秘诀、功夫、know-how 都在这里。因为都是全部公开，所以大概都没有什么了不起。错了，这些经验都非常宝贵，而且不是我们一般人学得来的。以下这段影片是用3种不同的特斯拉车种来讲述它的产品设计的理念。跟一般公司不太一样的地方是，特斯拉的产品设计它是跟工程、制造，甚至是材料、自动化都一起在做考虑的。跟一般公司来讲，完全只是单纯在做产品设计，是完全不一样的。所以这个呢，我们在听他所的讲课的时候呢，我们要特别注意的。
Hi, I'm Franz. I lead design at Tesla.
And I'm Lars. I've been doing vehicles with Franz for almost 13 years now.
So I joined Tesla in 2008 to vertically integrate design into the company. It didn't exist before. It was a pretty small team. It was tasked with designing the most beautiful, innovative, and well-engineered vehicles on the planet. No small task in 2008. There was not a lot going on in the EV sector then. Since then, we focused on constant improvement in cost, efficiency, innovation, things that you'll continue to hear about today, while continuing to design the most desirable cars. Today, we produce cars differently than we did 10 years ago, but the end result is always an exciting, futuristic, and desirable set of vehicles.
Back then, we only had a handful of designers and engineers like myself, but we had a great vision to radically change transportation.
So back in 2008, where we were designing Model S, we didn't have a factory. In fact, we had a really small engineering team and a tiny design team. But that allowed design to lead all the conversations. It let us innovate forward-thinking ideas, like how do you fit 7 people into a sedan? Or how do you make door handles disappear into the doors? Or putting a huge touchscreen into the center of the vehicle, something that had never been done before.
And then we won Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Yes, and we won Motor Trend Car of the Year in 2013. Our first, great award, first car. Pretty good start. Kind of a home run, I think. But that whole process resulted in a linear process that you see on the screen. We designed first, then we engineered, and then we figured out how to manufacture it.
Yeah, I think that's really important. When we were designing the car together, we didn't even know where we were going to build it. And so we came up with...
I didn't even know Lars when we were doing it.
That's true. So once we got Fremont, we were very fortunate, and we figured out the manufacturing solutions sort of like we were flying a plane and putting the wings and building the engine at the same time. So we knew we had to do better.
Yeah, we knew we had to be better in order to scale. And as part of the master plan that you've read, Model 3 needed to be a smaller, more efficient, and more affordable version of Model S. But it had to be equally great. It had to have all the things that people loved in their Model S or Model X, but be much more affordable. And so we approached the process a little bit differently than the first time around. Now we had teams that we all worked together, so we were able to combine design, engineering, and manufacturing process all at the same time. But somewhere along the way, we changed the manufacturing process to be fully automated. And so we leaned into this whole new way of manufacturing a car, but we had already engineered it. So things didn't quite go as well as planned.
It was an amazing product, but it landed us in production hell. Many of us who lived through that carry those battle scars. It was a great idea, but it wasn't the right timing. Like Franz said, automating something that we designed to be built manually is super hard. And we have many, many failed examples of that at the Fremont factory that we ripped out. But some of them eventually still work. This is one I actually worked on with a small team of engineers. It's still running today. And some of the engineers that came by said we couldn't do it, are no longer with the company, but it's running, and it's running faster than ever. So we kind of self-imposed constraints on the design when we were doing it to be built manually, and we really didn't think about it. But despite all that, Model 3 is the best-selling EV ever.
Yeah, and Model Y, which is derived from Model 3, is about to pass that. But we knew we had to improve the process further. And with Cybertruck, we designed a vehicle around a vision that actually started with the manufacturing process. And in this case, the materials dictated the design.
Forming full hard stainless steel isn't rocket science, but it sure isn't easy, and it limited the way we could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It really forced us to think about designing something in a way that you couldn't normally stamp panels, you couldn't form them in a traditional way. So you ended up with very linear bending processes that are just not in automotive kind of language of manufacturing today. But it actually created a very efficient process and one of the most dynamic designs ever, I believe. It's definitely something that's going to change the road landscape.
Hopefully you guys saw it down there and you experienced it. It's definitely real. Those are real trucks. We're on our way to build them. But what that stainless steel opportunity did for us, it has let us rethink the factory footprint. We don't stamp those. That's a huge part of it. We don't even paint them. So our footprint got smaller, and we started to think about innovative ways to take those constraints and make great products.
But that constraint didn't really change the end result of the truck. It's a super dynamic truck, and it has all the functionality you would expect out of any of the other competitive trucks. And the best thing about it, it's coming this year.